Here in the UK, in recent years, we've just had 2 publications relating to shortwave radio, amateur radio, that have been available in the shops. Practical Wireless, which is targeted at the licensed radio amateur, really, the transmitting amateur. And this magazine, Radio User, which is targeted more at the listener. A Radio User has information on shortwave radio, VHF, UHF, scanning, airband, maritime radio, that sort of thing, as well as some general information on radio and media. Now, what's significant about this copy of Radio User, this is the December 2022 edition, is it's the last issue. It's the last issue of the magazine. The magazine is basically closing, and it's going to be incorporated with the last remaining radio magazine that's on the newsstands in the UK, Practical Wireless. And you can see I have here the January 2023 edition of Practical Wireless, and it's now saying that it incorporates Radio User magazine. So Radio User, which at one time was called Shortwave Magazine, it's always been owned by the Practical Wireless publication, but we're going to lose a lot of information, I think, in future, as well as all the usual ads. There were various articles in each Radio User. You see, for example, we've got one on the Korean radio war, media and international radio, push-to-talk two-way radio, digital radio, article on the future of the BBC here, and there would also be airband news, as you can see here. There are also reports of what's been heard on the various broadcast bands. Now, if we look at the current Practical Wireless, which again is a magazine I subscribe to, it's an interesting magazine, but historically it wasn't targeted at the listener. Again, it's telling us it's incorporating Radio User. But if we look at the index, from my point of view, not a lot has changed from the previous edition of Practical Wireless. That is to say, there aren't an awful lot of articles now targeted at the listener, which is a shame. And Radio User also used to carry some information about Citizens Band Radio and PMR 446 and that sort of thing. I mean, we've got Practical Wireless here. We've got a review of the Zygo G106 transceiver, QRP. We've got all the usual ads, but just flicking through quickly, we'll see that it's really targeted more at the radio amateur. So I think it was coming for a long time that we'd lose a magazine like Radio User. It must have had a very limited subscriber base, but the December 2022 was the last edition. So if you want any dedicated shortwave information in future, your best bet is probably to join the British DX Club, who publish a monthly booklet with shortwave related news. If you're into medium wave particularly, you have the Medium Wave Circle. But as far as a listener orientated magazine on the UK newsstands, I'm afraid we've had our last one. So that's Radio User. Thank you for watching.